All right. We are going to take a look at the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms, try to make some comparisons between the three. We're going to clearly define when they began and when they ended. We're going to see what events trigger these three different time periods in Egyptian history. So let's start with this chart. Here we have the Old, Middle, New Kingdom. The pharaohs in the Old Kingdom, they organized this strong central state. That's really the beginning of our Egyptian empire as we know it. They were the absolute rulers, and they are the gods. That's something that's going to last throughout the Old, Middle, and New. Pyramid building at Giza started in the Old Kingdom, and power struggles, crop failures, and cost of pyramids contributed to the collapse of the Old Kingdom, made way for the Middle Kingdom to come about. During the Middle Kingdom, they have this large drainage project, which creates the farmland and allows them to harvest uh, the resources of water from the Nile River, which, as we know and as we looked at in Mesopotamia, was what allowed them to create this farmland. Traders in the Middle Kingdom start really spreading out throughout the Middle East and Crete, which is an island off of Greece. Corruption and rebellion were very common, however, in the Middle Kingdom, and the Hyksos invaded and occupied the Delta region, which is that furthest north region of Egypt. And then lastly, we have our New Kingdom. The powerful pharaohs create this large empire that reaches out to the Euphrates River out near Mesopotamia. Hatshepsut, who we looked at, she encouraged trade. Ramses II expands Egyptian rule to Syria, so even further. And then at the end of the New Kingdom, the Egyptian power declined. All three of these kingdoms signify orderly time in Egypt. Outside of this, there's going to be a little bit of gap of time between the Old and Middle and between the Middle and New. During those periods of time, it's very chaotic, and there's no one able to truly establish power within Egypt. So that's why we have these three definitions. So here's the Old Kingdom. And this guy right here is the most famous pharaoh for the Old Kingdom. It's Khufu. He ruled in 2500 BC. And Egyptian legend says he was cruel, but some of the historical records tell us that people who worked for him were well fed. So that makes us believe that he wasn't. He's best known for things like this, the monuments that were built to him. The Old Kingdom pharaoh's biggest job was uniting Egypt, bringing it all together under one rule. They also, like we just said, started building the pyramids at Giza. So this pyramid structure, I really like this picture because you can see kind of the progression of pyramid building, where you have these little ones here that are okay, kind of messy, the sides all crumpled off. This one keeps its sides a little bit, and then we get to the middle one. Which is our absolute biggest and most pristine. Also, they start some trading at this time. This is an example of myrrh, which is something that they would get, something they would start getting from the Middle East as they start making contact with these other cultures. Next, we have our Middle Kingdom. And you can see on this map here, anything in the orange, the darker orange, is our Old Kingdom empire. The lighter orange or yellow that's around it, that's when they start to expand in the Middle Kingdom. It starts to get a little bit bigger. However, the Middle Kingdom is also noted by the Hyksos, who occupy this northern region here by the Delta, which means they can control any of those sailboats being able to get in or out of the Nile River. That's why that was so important. So moving on, once the Hyksos are cleared out by Ramses, we get into the New Kingdom. In the New Kingdom, this is our biggest expansion. So not only do we have the Middle Kingdom area and the Old Kingdom, but they've expanded towards Mesopotamia, going all the way out to that Euphrates Sea and into Syria. So the New Kingdom is when Egypt is going to be at the height of their power. And they have this really complex trade route, which you can see here, as they go out to the island of Crete, and they're even able to go all the way into Mesopotamia. Now, not only are goods being traded throughout this, on this trade route, but also the spread of ideas, which is why we see a lot of inventions that happen in Egypt, also happening in Mesopotamia, also even all the way down into Nubia and the rest of Africa. All those ideas are traded along these trade routes. So that's your quick snapshot into the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms. Now you're going to click on the link that goes with this activity, and you're going to find out some more on your own. Thanks for watching.